Yo, what up, Zing? This is gonna be a little bit of a different video, brother. So it's not gonna be about video games or anything like that. I just want to share some information about certain things. Life, as you know, does not stop. It continues to go, and we keep getting older. But the issue is that sometimes we, as in our infinite wisdom, we don't think that we are gonna get old, and we end up being 42, 44 years old, 50 years old, and realizing that, oh crap, I didn't do what it was necessary for me to retire, and then I have to go back to work. So this is what it's all about, right? So thank you for joining. I appreciate you. We're gonna wait. It's about to be 7 o'clock. Yeah, it's 7 o'clock. So we're gonna wait a little bit longer, see if anybody else joins. It's just to share knowledge, not financial advice, but I want to share my own personal experience with a 401k and a Roth IRA. This is all about. So if you want to stick around, Zing, let me know. If not, I appreciate you dropping by, buddy. Thank you. Okay, so let's see who's on. If you can see the live chat, just say your name on the chat. You don't have to give us your physical name, right? So, it's up to you if you want to. You don't have to. But yep. Just so I can answer some questions or anything like that. Just in case you may have some. I will write some questions down for the next episode. Um, I created an entire channel for this particular reason, for this particular thing. But for some odd reason, hold on one second. I had to verify things with YouTube. I'll be in and out of work right now. Yeah, man, absolutely, dude. This is still gonna be recorded anyway, so it's not something that's gonna go away. So I will continue putting more content like this into our new channel that I just opened. But YouTube has an issue where you have to verify all this stuff. Hold on one second. I have some friends texting me, so give me 1 second, guys. All right. So what are we going to talk about this? So we're going to talk about the difference between a Roth IRA and a 401k. So what most people usually hear about is going to be their 401k because their job, let's say that you're actually employed by Zany Brainy, your job would actually provide a 401k match contribution to your retirement fund. And it's great and all if that's the only thing that they offer, right? But the problem with those accounts, it's that, well, you're only allowed to contribute um, a certain amount of money, right? And the problem with those is like they keep control of where they invest it. So it's not like you have control as to where your money goes, right? So it kind of leaves you in a place where you up to the company's discretion to make sure that they are doing the best that they can to invest your money. So again, if that's the only thing that you can do, it's perfectly fine. At least you have something. But the idea is to um, learn a little bit more, something that you can manage yourself, right? Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up, Angel? How you doing, bud? Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. We just started. So the main difference between a 401k is that you can contribute up to the max of 22,500, and your employer will contribute to your retirement fund. It's a certain percentage. Sometimes company match up to 5%. Hey, Ricky, how you doing, bud? Thank you for joining. So your job will contribute up to 5%. Depends on the company, of course. Not every company is going to match up to 5%, right? But if they do, take advantage of it because it is a big help, right? Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, Angel. Thank you for the support, man. So the Roth IRA may be a little bit better because it's tax free. You will pay zero taxes at the end of your retirement. Let's say you retire at the age of 65. You can start taking any of your contributions at any point if you so desire. It's not locked in like a CD account or anything like that. So you could, in theory, use this money as your own bank, right? That it continues to earn interest and compound on itself, right? So throughout the entire presentation, if you guys have any questions at all, please ask questions. I have a note and paper that I will be writing them down, and then we can either do a second episode to this and answer any questions that you guys may have. All right. So we are going to go with the first slide. So, like I mentioned before, the difference between a 401k and a Roth IRA. So we're going to talk about the benefits of the 401k. So it's pre-tax. What does that mean to you guys? So let's just hypothetical saying that you earn, X number of dollars. Let's just put it at $100,000. Your corporation will take your contributions before they tax you. So let's say you're contributing 20% of your entire paycheck to your 401k. That means that your salary or you will not be taxed on $100,000. You will be taxed on only $80,000. It's a good thing because, as you know, when you start getting old and you can't go to work when you retire, because, you know, your bones hurt or your body does not permits it, it kind of puts you in a predicament where it's like, oh, shoot, I should have think differently, right? So again, your job will match contributions to your 401k. That's helping you to grow this account a little bit faster, right? Because the maximum that you can contribute to a 401k is 22,500, right? That's as per the IRA, the IRS. The 401ks also invest in companies that they choose. You will only pay the taxes when you withdraw money, usually during your retirement. Um, whenever you retire, the tax may be lower. I mean, who knows? And again, this is assuming that you retire. And I'm gonna put an example out there that your taxes right now, and today's day, which is October 13th, 2025, it's 30%. As an example, let's say that you accumulated $1 million throughout your entire career with this company. You don't really have $1 million. So you have to take your $1 million minus 30% because Uncle Sam is going to want their taxes. So if Uncle Sam wants their taxes, your $1 million only becomes like $700,000. It's a big hit to take, especially thinking that, you do have $1 million and it sounds great that you have $1 million, but you technically don't. All right. Now, the difference between a Roth IRA and a 401k is that the 401k is tax deferred, so it's before taxes. The Roth IRA is tax free because you have already paid taxes on the funds that you contribute to your Roth IRA. Now, a lot of people ask all the time, well, can I take the money out whenever I want? The answer is yes. But if you go with a mentality that I take the money whenever I want to or whenever I need it, um, then might as well open a bank account and leave your money there to lose value, right? Because when you open a Roth IRA is to make your money grow. And I will show you some examples as to what I did with $7,000 that on an account that I opened with Fidelity in May 19th of this year. And it became active on May 19th, which meant that I could trade all the funds that I had on that account. And I will show you the results from 7,000 to what I have currently right now. We'll be talking about May to now 5 months. So in 5 months, you can see my results. Anyways, so your contributions are post tax, right? So after you pay your taxes, if you qualify, you can start depositing money into your Roth IRA. Keep in mind that if you make a certain amount of money, they don't allow you to contribute to a Roth IRA. But there's also a way to go around that too. And if you guys have any questions, we can talk about that too. Okay, so flexible withdrawals. You can pretty much take your withdrawals, your contributions whenever you want, tax free, penalty free. Nothing comes out of the account unless you want to withdraw it, right? Um, in case of an emergency, you will have funds to be able to distribute to however you please, right? You have a wide range variety of stocks and ETF that you can contribute in your Roth IRA, and your 401k is locked on to whatever the company would like to invest. So I'm going to give you my own personal experience with a 401k. I worked for a company for about 12 years, and I used to, give them about 15% of my paycheck before taxes, of course. I think the company contribute about 4% of the funds or whatever I put there. So if I put 100, they'll match 4% out of that, right? And in 12 years, I only mount to $37,000, right? Because the funds that they choose, it wasn't growing as fast as if it would have chose the funds myself, right? So, and I will show you some examples too as to what the difference is between you choosing your own stocks or ETFs or index versus the company picking them, because the company picks indexes that are extremely safe and therefore they do not grow as fast. All right. So here's example two, right? So if we're talking about some of the indices that are out available for you to choose, right, in your 401k, right, tracks the performance of specific company markets. As an example, the S&P 500, the Dow Jones, the Nasdaq, the Russell 2000. These are companies that are extremely big, but again, they grow at a steady pace. Safe, super safe. You can, be rest assured that you can, drop your money in there and it will stay safe for the longest time. So that's a good thing about it, right? So you don't lose any money, but it also plays with the market. So if the market crashes, guess what? Your funds would also drop. So you are at the mercy of the market gods, somebody will call it. And it's been proven on the 10th. The president of the United States made a proclamation or something like that, that he's going to impose additional tariffs on China. And what happened to the market? It dropped almost 9 points, right? So that's all over the place. And again, I will show you some examples of that. So with a 401k, you have the ability to choose any stock, ETF, you name it. You can also choose companies that pay you a dividend, almost like a royalty or kind of like a bonus, right? When a company does really well, their earnings come out, you have a chance to, get their dividends if the company pays dividends. There are some companies out there who are just growth companies, right? Who worry about capital appreciation. What is capital appreciation? Let's say you buy a share of Nvidia at $100, right? And you maintain that one share for 10 years. And in 10 years, that Nvidia company grows their share stock by 1,000%. So now your $100 that you invested into Nvidia becomes $1,000, right? So that's a 1,000% gain. Um, if you do decide to take that money out, you will pay taxes, of course, because you paying taxes on the gains that you had gotten from the particular company, right? Dividend companies are any company who pays a royalty dividend to their shareholders. This could be in a weekly basis, monthly basis, quarterly basis, and some companies pay once a year, right? As an example, then I'm just going to mention a few of the stocks that are like extremely popular: Home Depot, Lowe's, Bank of America, Rex, ABR, Nvidia, Vici. Vici, it's a retail estate company. They own a lot of real estate in Las Vegas. So all those huge casinos that you see, it's probably owned by them. Oh, also, they are a realty company. They pay every single month. And by law, they have to share about 90% of their earnings with their shareholders. Some of the popular ETFs are basically like a basket of companies that hold multiple companies instead of just one single individual stock. So, like Home Depot, it's individual stocks. ETFs, SEHD, VOO, SPY, QQQ. So, why am I talking about SEHD? SEHD is one of the most popular ETFs on the market. VOO, they track the S&P 500. Same thing with SPY, QQQ. They usually target the Nasdaq, if I'm not mistaken. So, very very tech heavy. So, but it grows is stupid fast. So, moving to the next, right? So, one of the things that I like about Warren Buffett, if you guys don't know who he is, um, he's a multi-billionaire who bought Coca-Cola back in the 80s or the 60s. I can't remember where exactly. But he's very wealthy. So when he bought Coca Cola in back in the market and back in the days, he bought it for millions of dollars, right, for pennies. And now Warren Buffett gets close to about $150 million every single year from his dividends, from just owning a share of Coca Cola. So one of the things that he said is the best investment that you can make, it's in yourself. It is simple but powerful. Buffett has always emphasized the value of continuing to learn, self discipline, and personal growth because those are the things that can compound over time, just like your money does, right? So if you learn a craft, if you know something, right? This is the time where, if you have time, of course, I'm not going to say no. If you have the time, yes, if you're a young person and you're watching this video today and you're 20 years old and you want to retire at the age of 50, that's the 30-year compound. So, what does that mean to you guys? Okay. So, I took the liberty of, pulling up ACHD right here. This is what you're seeing right now. Let me get rid of this. Close this. Close that. All right. So I took the liberty of pulling out SEHD, which is the company that I was talking about. And I did a little bit of calculations, right? So SEHD is going to be up here. Let me pull this out. So SEHD right now is selling per share, right? $26 per share. So if we're talking about $26 per share and you buy roughly, I'm just going to put 100 shares, right? So, and you contribute just 10 bucks, $10 a day. We're not going to pay any taxes on this account because it's tax deferred. It grows at the current dividend rate of ACHD is going to be 3.89%, right? The yearly dividend growth, it's 11.3, roughly about 11.3, 11%, give or take. And the price appreciation for SEHD is going to be 7.48%. That means that the company grows at a steady pace of 7.48%, so 7.5%, something like that. All right. So, and we're going to do the calculations for 30 years. Mind you, you only bought 100 units, 100 shares, I should say, right? So if we're talking about 100 shares times 26.8, 0.63. So your initial investment will be 2663, right? And then we're going to talk about 2663, the first payment that you made to SCHD, which is the Schwa US Dividend Equity ETF, right? We're going to do the calculations for 30 years, and we're going to see what kind of numbers we get with just one ETF. Okay, so it's estimating that in 30 years, if you don't do anything with it and you deposit 3650 per year, which is $10 a day, every single day, you stay consistent, you will have at the end of your retirement about $1.7 million, right? So 1.7 million. And if you want to find out what you will be getting at retirement, so we're talking about at the age of, if you are 30 and you want to retire at the age of 60, right? So that's 30 years. So if you want to retire at the age of 60, according to the calculators, you will be getting $164,000 per year, right? And your portfolio will be worth about $1.7 million. Now, I know this number sounds a little bit ridiculous, right? I'm sorry. Yeah. Um, but if you think about it, though, when you put money into a bank and your bank doesn't give you a certain percentage, um, as you know, any bank, doesn't matter what bank it is, Bank of America, Capital One, you name it, they only give you about 0.01% on your savings account. What if you actually had that money? Hey, Tad, what's going on, man? How you doing, bud? What if you had that money into a high dividends yield account, right? That will pay you 3.9%, right? At the long run, you will definitely be coming out on top and have the ability to retire and enjoy the remaining of your years. But this is more for someone who has time. Now, I am going to show you guys my personal account with Fidelity. I opened this account in May 19, 2025. It hasn't even been an entire year that I'm going to show you what that account has done for me. I'm doing good, Tab. Thank you for watching, man. I appreciate you, bud. Um, so this account that you're seeing right now, this is my Fidelity account that I opened in May of this year, May 19th to be exact. So every Roth IRA, you can only contribute a max of $7,000, which is what I put into it. So $7,000, and in 5 months, this account has grown to 12,365 and 3 cents. So again, either I'm a wizard that I can make these types of numbers, right? And this is not a what you call it, a screenshot from anybody. This is actually my account, right? So I don't know about you guys, but if I leave $7,000 in my bank account, right, in my Bank of America bank account, I would definitely not grow it to $12,365. So ask yourself this: which one would you rather? Keeping your money in a bank account that is losing value year over year, or put it in a Roth IRA, would eventually will grow in value and maybe help you at your retirement, right? So my positions with the company that I have right now, I'm using Ulti. Their shares is $5.42 per share. I have in this account 2280, so 2280 shares. It pays a dividend payment or distribution, whatever you want to call it, of 87%. That's like 10 cents per share, right? So if you're talking about 10 cents per share, value at $2,200, 2280. That's like 200 and something dollars, right? That's every single week. That's someone's paycheck. That's someone who works at a fast food place that works, I don't know, 16, 20 hours a week. I'm assuming that's how much they pay, by the way. So I don't know. But to me, it's worth it, right? So one of the things that I always tell everybody who whenever I talk about this, they think that this is the get rich quick scheme. It is not, because the government is the one that manages all of these accounts. I have nothing to do with this. I don't control the market. And if I did, hell, I'll be a millionaire by now, right? But I have only started doing this since 2023. Did I lose money? Yeah, I did. But I did not give up. I started doing a lot of research, started reading a lot, going into companies, white sheets and see what they're all about. Researching the dividend kings, the dividend aristocrats. Those are companies who have been paying dividends for 20 years. Dividend kings, they have been paying dividends for 30 plus years and continue to pay the dividends and continue to grow the dividends, right? So these are the companies that you want to have in your portfolio. Now, again, I'm of age, right? So I have to expedite the process of being able to retire. This is the reason why I do what I do. And I'm going to share with you guys my Robinhood account, which when I started in 2023, I started it with $5,000. 2024, I put in $7,000. 2025, I did an additional $7,000 because that's the max that you can do. You can only max it out with 7K per year. So, in a matter of 3 years, right, I'm going to show you guys this. So, 2022, I didn't do anything, right? I didn't know nothing about investments. No one tells you these things, and the people who tell you these things, they want you to pay them a ridiculous amounts of money. And obviously, if you're not made of money, how could you do this, right? But the thing is, like, this information is on the market. It's free. It's out there. The thing is, like, nobody tells you how to search for it, right? And whenever somebody tells you to do something, it's like we don't do it because we're not creatures of, let's change those behaviors, right? Because we've been taught since we were kids, um, get a job, go to work, pay your dues, right? So, and in theory, it sounds great, right? Because you got to go to work, make a living, right? But if we're not focused on our retirement, what is left for us to do, right? Once we say at 65 or 70, whatever the hell time we're going to retire by the time we get old, um, what is it going to be like 75 years old? And you need to ask yourself today, now, can I work past 70? Can my body handle past 70 years old? I got to tell you, man, my body does not think so. So I need to do what is necessary today to be able to enjoy at least 10 years of my life with either my grandkids or my kids or hobbies or friends, whatever it is that I may want to do in my retirement. Anywho, so in my Robinhood account, when I started with $5,000 right here, 2023. 2022, nothing. 2023, 5 grand. I lost money because I didn't know what the hell I was doing, right? 2024, I invested $7,000. So now we're talking about, $7,000 plus 5,000 is $13,000, right? Or $12,000. Sorry, my bad. Right. So, two, two, two. Right. So that's 12 grand in 2 years, right? I did all right, can't complain. Then in 2025, I know more about the market, right? So 2022 was like a breaking point for me. Like, yo, I need to do something, right? And what is that something? I need to invest in the market and find out how can I become wealthy, right? Not at my older age, but still have years to enjoy life and years to go on vacation and not need a walker. I know that sounds crazy to some of you guys, but um, that's the idea, right? Not retiring, and when you go on vacation, you're using a cane or a walker. Not to say that it's actually something bad, by the way, But the problem is like if we're not taught the right way to actually retire, what are we gonna do? Right? Are we gonna go on vacation and not be able to walk and enjoy our vacation? That's not what I want. Anyway, back to 2025, invested another $7,000. Right? So I'm gonna do all on my account. So if you look at March 24, I don't know why it doesn't go back. Can I go further back? No, I cannot. I can only go back a year and all. Anyways, so March 4th, 2024, this is when I started really, really getting into it and learning and considering ETFs, searching dividend kings, companies who pay high dividends amounts. Very risky, but at the same time, it pays stupidly well. And I'm going to show you guys some of my dividend payments that I have received in the past 6 weeks, right? So, anyways, so if you look at the trajectory of my account, right? So I'm going to go a little bit slow so I can try to like see, so you can see the numbers growth. 38, 37, blah, blah, blah. So when was it? January 20. So February 24th, the market took a dip. So it went from 40,000. That's how much money I have made from trading and selling and getting my dividends from companies, right? But it took a huge dip. So it went from 40,000 to 36,000. And I panicked. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to lose my money. So I sold all the companies that I had and watched the market, right? The problem with the market, I won't say the problem, it's just the nature of the market. The market goes up and down, goes up and down. In about 18 months period time, the market does a reset where the all companies on the S&P 500, the Dow Jones, you name it, any company will drop between 6 and 8%. But then it rebounds double of what it loses. So if you look, so I went from 36, 39, 38, 42, 46. So the market does that all the time. So that's a gain of $9,500 between February when it crashed all the way up to May, right? It's not a bad return. I dig it. I take it. So then, okay, climbing, blah, blah, blah. 48 went up to 54. Then, boom, lost 2,000. I'm like, all right, that's the market doing its thing. I'm not going to worry about it. Then, boom, it took a huge nosedive. So I went from 54 to 46. That's a big loss, right? But if you guys watch very carefully with the market, this is September 1st, by the way, just so you guys know, this year. Boom, it reached 57,996. And then, right, it crashed again, all because of one person made some very boldly claims. Um, Anywho, the market does that a lot. Do I worry about it? I'm not. Because the way I see it is when the market is down and this huge dip points, that's the point of sale. What does that mean? It means that this is when you buy more. Now, unfortunately for me, I can't buy more, right? I'm stuck. Main reason is because I have to wait until 2026 to be able to contribute another $7,000 into my 401 my Roth IRA to be able to buy more shares, right? So what I can do is just take my dividends, which is what the company pays you, right? So I'm going to show history. This is my dividends from Hui. So HOOW. So Hood. It's a company owned by Roundhill. So Roundhill owns a bunch of different ETFs. that they track certain companies. So this particular one that I own, it's Hood. So HOOD, they track Robinhood, which is this where I hold my Roth IRA. So in every single week when I started like buying their shares, their first dividend payment, I had 714 shares. They pay $1.60, right? So it's not horrible, $1.60. I take it. It was 1141. Not bad for 1 week, you know, not too shabby. All right. August 19th, right? I had 740 shares. Now I had a little bit more shares because I bought with this money, I bought more shares. That's just how it is. They pay me $2.46 per share. I have 740 shares. They gave me 1821. Now you may be saying 1821, that is a great paycheck. It is, right? But we're not talking about thousands. And that's what I want. I want to get to like at least 5 grand a month. I mean, 5 grand a week. Will I get there? Who knows? Only time is gonna tell because nobody can tell time. Anywho, August 26th, right? I have 769 shares. The company was doing a little bit, worse than the previous week, so they only paid $1.05 per share. So my dividend payment was $811. Hmm, not horrible. I'll take it. Still a pretty good, decent dividend payment. On September 3rd, right? 782 shares, paid 83 cents per share. I got $656 per share. I mean, for all of my shares. That's a pretty good dividend payment, too. Not horrible, right? September 9th, 782 shares. Same amount of shares. I didn't buy any more. I didn't trade it anything, right? Same amount of shares. And I got 586. The problem with this company is that it's very volatile. What does that mean? Depending on the market of how many you buy, how many shares they buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell. So they're trading constantly on the daily basis, right? I'm sorry, Monday through Friday, not on the daily basis. So Monday through Friday is they start trading day in and day out, right? Depending on how well they're doing, their dividend payments will actually go higher, right? Depending on how much money they're making on their selling and trading and the cover calls that they have, the puts and everything, then they'll pay a higher dividend amount. Okay. September 16th, I sold all of my shares because it dropped a lot. So I sold all my shares and I bought only 570 shares. I think this was like a $40,000 purchase, something along those lines. They paid me $1.58 per share. It was $902 for that week. So, and then I didn't have anything else up here this October 7th and September 30th. I didn't have any um, because I actually went with Yield Max. Yield Max is a little bit more on the consistent side because they pay 10 cents per share, between 9 and 10 cents per share every single week. Now, for some of you who are friends of mine that I know you, this is what I've been talking about, right? Because if we don't start doing this now, by the time we get to being my age, we will realize that now we need to play catch up. And that's not the way it should be. We should be already ahead of the curve and try to maximize these accounts because they're very, very powerful. Anywho, October 10th, right? This past week. I had $10,609, sent 10,609 shares of OT, and they paid 9 cents per share. That was 9.56 for that week, right? So it is worth it to have these accounts. Um, Not only because you can see your money growth every single week or every single week, every single month, you can see it. Obviously, this is a fluke, right? 57, and then it dropped down to 53. So loss of 5 grand right here. But the market does that. The market goes up and down. No one controls the market but one person, depending on what he says or does. So again, this is the idea that I want to share with a lot of people. Um, because if we don't share our knowledge, then what good are we doing for our community? There is one thing. Um, Give me 1 second and I'll share it with you guys. I don't want to get all biblical on any of you guys, right? But the Bible does teaches us the money that comes easy, it goes just the same too, right? So Proverbs 13:11, it says the money that comes easily disappears as quickly, right? But money that is gathered little by little will grow. This is the same thing about a Roth IRA. If you stay consistent, you're disciplined, and don't panic when these things happen right here. Um, Believe it or not, you could amount to a large amounts of money. But it's something that it requires time. It's not a get rich quick scheme. Doesn't work that way. Stay disciplined, and over time, believe it or not, you will become to a lot of money. So I'm gonna open it to you guys. Right? Do you guys have any questions that I can answer? Um, Anything that you guys may want to ask. I can even show you how to open these accounts. Obviously, we could do it at another video because right now we're almost at 40 minutes into this live stream. But I was putting here to teach people, I guess. I think like I found my call or something along those lines, right? So um, knowledge is power, guys. Right? If you embrace this and you truly, truly want to change um, your life at your retirement, this is the way to do it. So I'm gonna stick around for a little bit, right? Ricky, thank you. I appreciate it. Tad, Rizzo, I appreciate you too, buddy. Angel, as always, brother. Thank you so much. Zing, I don't know if you're still here, but I also appreciate you being on the live stream, brother. Um, Whatever you guys need, yeah, know where to reach me. Um, Send me calls, send me questions. I'd be more than happy to answer whatever questions you guys may have. Because in reality, though, we're all in this together, and if we are not growing together, I'll feel like I'm not a friend, right? Because would you recommend trying to put $7,000 ASAP, or try to buy a weekly and buy when the market is low? So one of the things that I'm going to recommend, right, and this is just for my personal take, if you have $7,000 to invest, let's do it all at once, right? And the reason why you want to do it all at once is because as you wait and you continue to just do it weekly, like I mentioned, $10 a week, that will equals to only $36.50 per year, right? If you have your $7,000, put in your $7,000, open your Roth IRA. Once the account becomes active and able to trade, then invest in something. You don't have to invest in the stocks that I have. No one has to do what I do, right? But I'm doing what I'm doing because I need this money to grow by the time I'm 50, to have enough to be able to say, I don't want to work anymore. That's the idea. But if you want to do it little by little, try the market, right? Put it on something that you feel like it all depends on how much time you have too, right? So if we're talking about hypothetical, you're 20 years old and you're 20 years old now, and you want to get your feet wet, start with as little as you can, right? Because you don't want to break the bank either. So if you start as little as you can, $10 a month, uh, you're not 50 yet. Nope, I'm not 50 yet. So I still got about 6 more years, man. So um, when you start doing this, right, and you start seeing your first dividend, you can ask Robert. Robert, when I first started with Robert, yes, the market took a beating, right? But it's the market; it happens. But if you ask him, he still continued to get his dividends every single week, right? We changed a few things. We made it a little bit better, and his sons continue to get dividends from the stocks that he owns. Another thing that you could do, guys. Have a good night. Gotta yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely, Ricky. Thank you for coming, buddy. I appreciate you, man. I hope that I was able to enlighten you on some of these things that I do. I know that I keep sharing it with you whenever I see you. So thank you for stopping by. I appreciate that, man. Anyways, what I was saying is um if you have children and they are 18 years of age, right? Get them to open these accounts. Get them to do it because right now that they're younger, like 18 years, let's say that they want to retire at the age of 48, they can, you know? We'll chat soon. Yeah, man, for sure. Ricky, whenever you want, buddy. You know, I'm an open book. You can ask me anything. So, um, a lot of people don't know that these accounts could be beneficial for your children, right? I'm a photographer. Some of you guys already know me in my own personal life. I employ my children. What do I mean by that? My kids, my 4-year old and my 10-year old, already have a Roth IRA under their name, right? I'm the custodial account holder, right? Thank you. I appreciate the advice. Yeah, sure, no problem. Um, I I control their accounts, right? So whenever I do a photo shoot for them, hypothetical, I will deposit either $1,000 on their account or $100 or $50, whatever I can deposit on their accounts in order for them to have some sort of money. At the age of 18, they can start using this money for their own college purposes. Um, so again, because they have time, you can start with as little as $10 a day or $5 a day or $100 a month. That's $1,200 a year. Anything you can contribute to these accounts, huge benefit to you guys. So but yeah, thank you for being active, guys. I appreciate it. You know, again, I know this is the first one and it's a little rough, right? But the idea is to get more comfortable as we continue to do this. And I want to invite more people into the podcast and share more information with you guys. Um, but we will improve. We will get better. And I want to start sharing the um the weekly high paying dividends stocks weekly. They come out on Monday mornings, and I'm sorry, not Monday mornings, Friday mornings, and on Wednesday morning. All of the ETFs and high dividend yields that pay weekly, monthly, and if you want to, we can either start. I can even start sharing some of my accounts and my trades too, because I do trade a lot. Um, Not to a point where my account is going to become a day trading account because you can't do it in a Roth IRA like that. You can only trade about 3 times per day max, I believe. Can't remember how many times it was, but every company will have different ways to block it up so you don't become a day trader in a Roth IRA. Because keep in mind that you're not paying any taxes on these accounts. So if you're making a lot of money, $4 or $5,000 a month or whatever, it's zero tax. That's why the companies they don't want you to do day trading. Of course, you could do some trading, but not like trading, 50, 100 times on a daily basis. That's not what this account is intended for. Um, but you could do your Roth IRA and any brokerage that you choose to, whether it's Fidelity, Robinhood, Charles Schwab, Vanguard, you name it, whatever platform you feel more comfortable, open it with those accounts, open it with those platforms, right? But again, guys, this is not financial advice. I just wanted to come in here, share what I do, and if you guys feel really interested on learning a bit more, stay tuned to the channel. I will be putting a little bit more content now, that I have a little bit more knowledge on this sort of things, right? So it's up to you guys. Whatever you can use this information for, the knowledge, the training, it will help you in the end. All right. But anyway, guys, until the next video, stay safe. Peace. By the way, um, you can still write questions in the comments too. Um, I'll make sure that I read them too. All right. All right, guys. So that is it for me today. I appreciate every one of you guys that come in and watch me rant for 40 minutes.